Okay. There's gonna be a second. I guess I don't really need to switch it right now. For some reason, the background image that I put on there didn't like stop loading partway in. I don't really know why. Either way, we've got chapter coming out in a little bit. What, like 5 minutes? And then we're going to have everything rolling out. This is supposed to be one that Mishima hyped up. We'll see. I don't need it to be some crazy, groundbreaking mega reveal that Zareth is, like, actually one of 10 and there's, I don't know, whatever. Some weird extra, just kind of, extra effort shit. I don't think I need that. I would pretty sure I'm perfectly fine if we can just get some general, like, useful and cool interactions between the two of them, and like stuff that is going to have direct, obvious connection. Like, oh, is she gonna acknowledge about the fact that Irene is partially, though not directly, responsible for Acnologia, which obviously caused the death of all these dragons, and for humans to pretty much take over. But for Selene, like, there's a chance that she's cool with it, that she wouldn't really mind, because obviously she's grown to be more for the human side, and believes obviously the dragons have been more problematic at this point in time. So we'll see. Obviously, that, like I said, that's gonna be one of those things we're gonna have to wait for. How's it going there, Cyan? How you doing? We've got the chapter coming out in just a few minutes. As I've said before in multiple other the streams, I won't read the comments till after I get through the chapter. Obviously, just in case if anybody ends up reading it before I finish and then posting spoilers or whatever. Is my stream not up? No, it's up. Okay. I was looking for it, and I'm like, did I fuck up posting it on my channel? I don't think so. You guys hear me just fine, though? How's it going there, Cyan? My audio fine? Got the chapter coming out in just a few minutes. Let me see. As I've said before, let me move this real quick. Can you guys hear me? How's it going, Jared Punch? Infinity End, how's it going? What new chapter will be focused on? I'm really hoping just a lot of general dialogue between Selene and Irene. Are my headphones on? Headphones are on. Make sure everything is set to the right thing. One sec. I think my headphones are right. It's going. It says it's going through on Streamlabs. Yeah, right. I'm not 100%. Hope they don't off-screen their talk. I don't think they will. How do you feel about the recent death battle? Language pretty stupid. Me, telekinesis, they're full shit. I mean, yeah, death battle has made it very clear on the shows and stuff that they don't, like, they haven't read or watched before they end up doing it. That they put very little effort into it. It's, I remember, like, they called Natsu what, like a magic bounty hunter, and that was his job. Not really. Like, you don't really see much for bounty hunting in Fairy Tail. Like, it is a thing, but it's not like it is the standard for the guild. I mean, not even like that. Like, Natsu is against mercenary guilds and stuff. So it's like, even if you went really far into like where bounty hunting leads to, it doesn't even line up with the character. But I mean, stuff like with Asta, where they had him finish off Deku by like just using his 3 swords and having them like telekinetically up from above him stab into him. Asta's never done that, and it's weird that they didn't use like an actual technique from Asta for the finish. Like, why wouldn't they just use that instead of what? Just having him like what, telekinetically slice him? Is my sound okay? I'm just making sure. Can you guys hear me? I want to make sure that my sound is all good. So I turn my stream on, I can't hear anything, but it shows that I have. Let me see. It shows that I have sound going through, so why isn't it not... Like, I just can't hear to my stream, but I don't know if maybe that's just my settings right now. Oh, you guys can hear me. Okay. So it might just be my... Is my headphone... Okay, my headphones are just turned down. Okay, there we go. For some reason, it's like if I have them on... But if I don't click the power on and off button, I don't know if I press mute on or something, that it like goes quiet. But the second I press like, volume up or down, works just fine. Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. I was worried that my sound wasn't going through before the chapter comes out, and then I'd just be talking into dead space. All right, so we got the chapter. Irene is on the cover. Figured to be one of the two of them. Wait, not the cover. She's like just on the thumbnail. Oh, that she's on the cover. It's a cover of her and baby Urza. Nice touching one. Obviously, nothing too out of the ordinary. Well, I guess it is kind of for Irene, just showing that nicer side. Because that's the thing that people forget about Irene is Irene was batshit crazy. It was very obvious when we actually went into her story that she was not mentally stable, and people act like her having some form of feelings for Urza after that made no sense. When all you have to do is really just pay attention to her character. Suzaku tries to leave. I think Selene says that they're gonna talk pretty much about girl stuff. I think because Suzaku gets really embarrassed, and I'm guessing that would be like, unless he tells her to do stuff, unless he says like, go, whatever, a task. I don't imagine he would just walk off. But obviously, like Suzaku, we know Suzaku is embarrassed and amused by like skin and like the idea of being naked and that kind of like more goofy stuff like that. So I imagine that he would probably be like, yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. You guys are talking about whatever. Just general conversation right now between the two of them. Obviously, we're gonna have to wait for some translations to understand what they're doing. Lots of dialogue, so I'm pretty happy about that. She's talking about Wendy. I think she's explaining how she's quote unquote alive-ish. But the two of them right now are just kind of generally chatting. Oh, what did Irene do? Okay, we'll see what Irene's doing. If Irene takes her body, I don't like that. I'm hoping she heals her instead, because I don't like the idea of her taking her body. Hang on a second, what? So she did something weird with Irene. I'm not really too sure what she did. Because, like, real quick, with no context, obviously, what's happening. Irene goes to, like, put an enchantment on Selene. I wonder if she tries to take her body or something. I don't know why she would. I don't think it makes sense. I know that people have been on that theory, but the thing is, like, she doesn't want a dragon body. And two, this is a heavily damaged body, so, like, why would she want it? If she's got some scheme, I guess. But, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wondering if she's going to have some way of actually just using her power to heal Selene. And then Selene will figure out some way to help her in return. I'm not too sure. But then they go over to Crocus, which is really weird. Or not Crocus, they go to Edolas. Because there's Sugar Boy and not Mary Hughes, just Hughes. Mistogan. Oh, okay. This is a... I don't know where this plot twist is going. But if I had to guess... So, like, this is going to be a little weird to explain. Do I have any chapter? Yeah, I'm reading through the raw one right now. I don't have it translated or anything. So, like, the thing I think Irene does is I think that because she's a personality, she can't pass on. But I'm pretty sure that Selene does something to reincarnate her. Because we end up going over to Edolas, and we see... we got, like, Sugar Boy, Byro, and Hughes, and they're all, like up in emergency about something. And then you see the Edolas Jalal, you see Mistogun, and a freshly newborn baby from Nightwalker Urza. So I'm wondering, did Irene get, like, reincarnated to, like, live a second life as this other world's Urza's child? I think that would make, like, would be one of those weird, like, ironic... I guess it'd be, I don't know if it'd be tragedies or what it would be. Would it be irony or at that point? I don't know. It's a really interesting twist. I just really want to see what the general dialogue is between Selene and Irene. I want to just know, like, what do they have to talk about? Because most of the chapter is dialogue. Like, from page 1 all the way to, like, let's see, pretty much all the way to, like, 15, 16 is, like, just the two of them chatting, and then it's that kind of send-off. Again, I'm very curious to how that exactly works. Because one thing we've had that's been consistent is when immortals or, like, really old characters die, there's some form of oddity to their death. Like, obviously, Mavis and Zareth, there's a little different because they were immortals. But in the process, they were sort of reincarnated, but not really. It's obviously very vague. You don't really know 100% if those characters are the stuff people are seeing, or if they are actual beings. They're similar to, like, Eclair at the end of Phoenix Priestess, or August when August appeared behind Mavis very briefly. So it's like if we have something for Irene, I think that would make sense. 'Cause I think it would make sense if there's like some form of like immediate fast respawn for characters of that caliber and importance and who have lived that long. And probably I would imagine the longer you live, that your death probably would have more of an impact on I don't know, whatever the life and death process is, because we know that there's got to be some things in it that end up there's got to be some things in it that end up kind of having a way of play on, you know, the boundary of life and death and however Saram runs things, because there's been a consistency about it. We just haven't gotten a direct like explanation. You know, there are stuff like that in the story already, but right now, I don't know. Right now, it's just going to be a wait and see game. Irene though, like what she did to Selene, I'm really hoping, because we see Selene, and I'm guessing that Irene helped Selene, healed her, so she wasn't going to die, and then in exchange, she like helped Irene be reborn, maybe. Because one, I'm fine with that. I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be a really good way for Irene's character to get a closeout. She came in, helped Wendy. She's given I almost take up like right in the middle of that. She's given a lot of clarification on stuff. She's now got some expansion through Irene and Selene. I think that her character has been pretty solid in the way that she's been utilized. She doesn't have to come back, and if she doesn't, as long as there are, one, she had a logical way that she came back, and two, you know, the time that she's back is well spent, and three, she's handled in a proper manner. Whether she, you know, stays or goes is just a way that keeps the character having a level of value in like the return and go point of time where they exist within the series again. I think that if Irene does go here, but in the process Selene gets fixed, I'd be super stoked about it. Because I think that there's like a degree of like she would also not really owe them, but I feel like Irene would have a logical level of guilt though, because especially for someone like Irene, who is also a mother, and like we know that Irene was mentally unstable 100%, but we know she cared about our daughter. So in her like actual sane state of mind, like when she actually had a level of mentality that could sustain like her actual side, not like the crazier malefic side that we, you know, saw most of the time. So her having like, if she has like some form of guilt over the fact that dragon slaying magic led to acnologia and then led to the death of Selene's children, maybe like from there she'll be like, oh yeah, you know, this is just something that I've been thinking about, and you know, I know it won't make up for what I did for X, Y, and Z, but I'm hoping it will help, kind of thing. I would really like that. So Mystica Nightwalker has a child. Surprising they leave the last arc. It's a little quick. Well, no, there's been a chunk since then. We just don't really have like a good enough time span to really kind of gauge, because that's one of the things that is 100% difficult with Mishima when he's not outright telling you the time gaps, because outside of like major time gaps, like it's very small little bits where they'll just kind of mention like weeks and days, and sometimes like a month or two will pass. Because like she could have been pregnant when we saw her in Edolas. It's just, you know, whatever is it, 3? I think it's after 3 months that they start getting the bump. I'm not 100% sure, but as long as she was within that span, and then it would depend like how long were they in Elentier for their time period. I'd have to go back and double check. Then how long now between Elentier now and then going to I guess pretty much just Edolas to now, or Elentier to now rather. Because it's like, if it's been 6 months, I guess. I don't know. Where can I read the raw? If you join my Discord, I can post a link of where to get to it. It's off. You have to download the app from Manga Poke. Like, I had to mess with my VPN, and I keep one of my, like, I have multiple, what is it called? Multiple of like the App Store accounts just because I had multiple ones set up long before. So I have one set as Japan, so whenever I need to update stuff or add extra cash on the app, because the chapters are like, it's like 70 cents or something per chapter. Let me post a quick link to my Discord, and then just like at me in like an hour or two, and then I'll post the link. Man, so it's okay. What time is it actually? It's like 10 minutes after, so there's probably the pictures online of the chapter, so I can try and get some of the dialogue. Let me see. So I want to know the things that obviously I want to know primarily are just like the conversation between the two of them. Death Battle did Asta dirty. I mean, Asta won, but it's very clear that they didn't put in much of the effort. I mean, I could have told you that. I didn't watch the Asta trailer, but I'm willing to bet if I watched it, I'd be able to tell that they don't pay much attention to Black Clover, because that's usually their thing. If they don't know if they don't know much about what the thing is, they probably don't have interest in it already. And I doubt they're going to put that much effort into getting back to it. I remember when they did the Power Rangers one. That's to me, like, obviously the fairy tale ones are the easiest for me to kind of like directly go at from talking on this channel. But the Power Ranger ones were awful. They were awful. Hang on, I'm looking through some of the things right now. Oh, I think he says he wants to talk to her in private, and then that's when Suzaku leaves. The Power Rangers ones were awful. They made out, I remember it's like with Voltron, they made out like light speed travel is fast for the Power Rangers, when that, like, they have like massively faster than light baseline on, like, in their normal suits, not in the Megazord, not with some form of upgrade, in their regular suits. What's up, Zura? Let's see. Oh, so she's known that Irene was inside of Wendy. Let's see. Show Eleftheria. I look like briefly. I need to see what these, roughly what all these pages say. Like, at least the dialogue. I mean, pretty much the whole chapter. I really want to know, like, the dialogue on this one so much, because this is just such an interesting chapter that I've been waiting for, but I wasn't sure if I was ever going to. Can Asta beat Natsu? No, he can't. Asta would get the shit kicked out of him. Asta is getting his ass folded by dudes who just have swords and magic. And their level of physical strength is like part 1 Dragon Slayers. Like, they're not impressive in that regard for Fairy Tail. Let me see. I'm just reading through these real quick. She's just talking about like the creation of Dragon Slayer magic. So what I was asking for, thank you. Holy shit! Now just please let me see her like apologize for Acnologia, or Irene or Selene just bring it up would be amazing. Let's see. She's just talking about Wendy. Obviously, my translations are not good, but I'm working on it. Well, I'm working on going through these ones, not working on like I'm gonna get my stuff better now. I don't think Ichigo can beat Natsu either. Ichigo doesn't have much experience against hand-to-hand fighters. He doesn't have that much for big feats in one-on-one fights. Natsu does in both of those regards. On top of that, he has hotter fire and heat than anybody in Bleach, and he has way more battle experience than Ichigo on top of that. And we've seen from Suzaku, Natsu can block blades with his bare hands. Would Death Note work on Natsu? Maybe. I would assume Well, no, because it's like he's not entirely human. I don't know. Does it work on non-humans? I think it works the on the Shinigami, so maybe because that's just like a death thing. Like that's just like an automatic cheat how the Death Note works. Because like I don't think the Death Note has ever had anybody resist it. But then again, like they only use it on normal humans, so that's one of those things that's like maybe. But I could easily see a character as long as they're more powerful than whatever like the limitations of the Shinigami are in Death Note, then it wouldn't work. But that's obviously speculation. I have no idea because it's never used, I think, on anybody other than humans, like plain people. Yeah, I can send the Discord link again. So I'll send the Discord link, and then later I'll post a link to the app. Did you read all the chapter? I've gone through the raws. Right now I'm going through the translations, shitty translations that I can do, but the best that I can muster right now, and then later hopefully we'll get like actual. Well, we'll get fan translations later. We'll get like actual translations from like people who know what they're doing. Let's see. Irene is saying like how a dragon like Selene is needed for the future. Very interested in that. I think that the whole age of like the end of the age of dragons that Selene talks about, I think it's not gonna happen. I know that like the dragons have pretty much been on obviously the mega scare side, or the since Acnologia's uprisal, is that a word? Since I don't know Acnologia's appearance, but I think with Ignea's plan, and obviously the stuff he did with the heart, that he's going to succeed in getting off, his new age of dragons, but I don't think he's going to succeed in the full extent of whatever his plan is. I think he's going to create a bunch more dragons on the planet, and that way that if Mishima does have a continuation, dragons will exist. I really am hoping that we have something like dragons come back, and then they pretty much post up in these countries, but it's like they're like, hey, humans, whatever, we will guard your country and do stuff in exchange for you pretty much just give us some land and food and whatever, and then that way like dragons could become essentially like nukes for countries. Whichever countries have more dragons would have more power, kind of thing. I think that would be really sick. I mean, that would just be cool in general. Obviously, it would really kind of open up a lot of potential for some stuff later. And if they're made as humans, like forcefully turned to dragons, it'd be really cool if you had some dragons that were just obviously human in origin but shifted into a humanoid form, and you don't notice them out in the crowds. But it's not like now where it's like a dragon is like absurdly rare, but it's like if you had a crowd of 10,000 people, at least one of them is a dragon or something like that. One of them in that crowd is a dragon. Something like that would be amazing, I would hope. But we'll see. Again, 1,000 Year Blood Work has been a really good start. Well, I'm glad the anime's been doing well. So the chapter's conversation is slow for 2 weeks long. I'm 100% fine with conversation between these two. One, we were 100% set for cooldown chapters between arcs. That's every time. Two, this is good cooldown stuff. This is character expansion, character progression, development, interactions that were fan fiction level before we saw this. Like before the last chapter, Irene and Selene meeting was 100% just fan speculation and hope. Nothing really built for it. Nothing really set there that would indicate that it's going to happen. Just the fans being like, hey, we have Selene around and Irene sort of around. What if we had these two badass dragon bitches come and chat with each other? And on top of that, they have actual important lore and stuff, the way that they connect. So how is Irene's plan going to be to heal her? I mean, she could just maybe like enchant her body to heal? I don't know. Because obviously she does some form of heal. I don't think she's trying to take her body. There's so many things with that like, I know people just like the idea of it, but it's like, one, Irene's not a villain anymore, neither is Selene. And why would she want a hurt dragon body? Let's see. I think Selene is able to like use her magic to one second. I think she's using her magic to like deal with that, because I think it makes sense. She obviously is a dragon slayer. She's using her magic to mess with that ruling of dragon slayer or dragon abilities hurting dragons to where they don't regenerate. So maybe she's like using obviously like dragon slayer magic to neutralize it to where her body would recognize it just as a regular wound and be able to heal. I think that would make a lot of sense. Oh man, I misclicked off of the page. Here we go. I know there's going to be a couple quiet periods just because I'm trying to run through this really fast. You can feature rogue magic to control dragons for a turn. Do you think it could work on Selene? I think Selene's too powerful. I think she's way too high up. My guess is it would, because it would be, I would assume, similar to this. It's some form of, obviously manipulation, control, magic, but with dragon slaying magic clad on top of it, so you can bypass the whole dragon immunity, dragon's resistance to magic, and actually do stuff to them. Like, I imagine that'd be the thing for most abilities. There's a potency thing involved, but also you need the dragon attribute in order to realistically harm them. Or I guess just realistically do much of anything for them. Let me see. Okay, we're going to go back and try and get through some of these again. I'll be able to. I think maybe she's saying that even though she's dead, if she dies, that she won't really pass on because she's a personality and not a spirit. I don't know. I need the translation of this one real bad. Let's see. I really like that. There's a line in there that's really good that I'm glad actually translated. And she's saying that in that moment where she killed herself to protect Urza, she felt like an actual mother then, which was, I thought that's a really good line. Just like when she did everything she could in order to save her daughter, and that was like, at that moment she finally felt like she was her real mother. I think that's a really powerful bit. Let's see. Irene, don't be sad. You have a lot of fans. Wait, get in there. Take this picture. I think she's saying that like since she's come back and been able to see all the stuff that's been happening, that she feels more relieved that she didn't take Urza's body, and she was happy that Urza was able to live, which I like. I like that a lot. So I think that would make a lot of sense. Obviously, like, in her moment of weakness and insanity, she, was very clearly breaking. And then, once she had to sacrifice herself, saved Urza, I imagine in her mind, it was just that nice relief when she saw, like, what life Urza was able to gain, achieve, and what she's been able to accomplish with Irene failing to both kill her and failing to take over her body. Let's see. I think one of the things that Irene wants is she wants to actually die and like pass on, but she can't because she's a personality. Because this isn't a real Irene. This is a copy of her. Let me see. I hope Wendy's gonna be okay. The question is what is Selene gonna do? What does this say? Oh, I think she thinks Wendy. I was like looking at it, I was like, what is she doing? Wendy's like clutching in pain for a second. I'll be like, man, I hope you're not hurting Wendy in her last moments. Well, so sorry, Wendy, this is gonna suck. You'll be okay though. You'll get a power up from it. It's okay. Let's see. This one say. Yeah, I think her last bits are she's just saying like, oh, she wants Urza to live strong and have a happy life. That was nice. I think this will be a better end for Irene, rather than just like she kills herself and then we kind of like skim over it. Much better ending for a character. Let's see. And Nightwalker names her Irene. So that's a little strange because obviously she would have never met Irene, but Edolas is weirdly different like that because it's not like, oh yeah, one thing is you're slightly taller or your personality's different. There's stuff in time that don't make sense in comparison because initially Wendy and Edolas is older, but she's technically younger because even if she's like 25 or whatever at the time of, I don't know. Yeah, because I feel like I think she's like 18 or 19 at the time of Edolas, and then obviously in her mid late 20s by the time of them going back right before Ellentir. But that could, like, even if you said she's 30 years back, Wendy was born more than 400 years in their timeline, and Edolas Jalal is the Edolas Makarov's son. There's a lot of weird stuff and connections. Like Mirror Jane in Edolas was always like that. She never was the more metal Mirror Jane. Then obviously, but tragedy struck her and she shifted into this other one. She was always like that. When will be okay? I know she will. It's gonna be rough for her because she's gonna probably be a little sad that Irene is gone. Irene taking the Endeavor route. Irene, no. Here's the thing. Irene, again, was insane at the point where she started to, like, wanting to enchant herself into Urza's body. Endeavor did it out of pettiness. Like, he was just mad that he wasn't number one. You're really down bad for the Selene. I agree. Well, I guess there's no baby bump in Fairy Tail since Irene didn't have one either in 515. Well, and the thing is, like, we saw Irene when she obviously found out she was pregnant, but she intentionally held a baby back for, what was it, like 18 months, 20 months, and then 400 plus years as a dragon. Would she name her child Irene is weird for me? Not really, because we know that Edolas and Earthline are connected in weird ways. Like the fact that Natsu and Gray are probably going to name their kids the same thing after the Edolas ones, which is weird when you think about it. The fact that these children have already been alive for years in this other world, and you're going to name your kids after another, like what their names are in an alternate world. And granted, like, the characters over there have the same name, but they would have gotten it for their parents with no knowledge about this other world. Whereas, like, if Natsu and Gray named their kids after the Edolas counterparts, then instead of just coming up with the names, then it's like, were they influenced by their Edolas counterparts, the fact that these children already exist, or will they have different names entirely? I don't think it's weird for him to call him for Irene, because, like, this world probably reversed, where Irene was the one that was born second, because we don't know anything about Nightwalker's mom or anything about anything about Nightwalker's origins. I don't imagine she has anything as crazy as Urza, so I doubt Irene in Edolas is her mom. So if it's in reverse, where instead of you had this woman who turned villain, and then woman who turned villain, and then later had Irene instead of woman turned villain, and then reborn with a villain who turned good. I guess I think that'd be pretty cool because it's like Earthland Urza obviously was good, whereas like Nightwalker Urza, even though you have to look at it from perspective of the sides, like them wanting to do stuff for their kingdom, for their entire Edolas kingdom and everything. That's 100% fine. It was Nightwalker's like crueler, sadistic side and how much she clearly liked to kill and torture people she was hunting that clearly put her on a more evil side of things. But since then, she's clearly like gotten through that and worked better. I don't know. Again, it's a little weird. I mean, when are we going to see the chapter? So the raws are out. The fan translation will probably be out later today. Missing an Edel Urza of a child named Irene. No, they already did. It was at the end of this chapter. Well, does Gildarts do in a fight against Hades back? Current Gildarts stomps him. If you're talking about in the arc itself, Hades would still win. Unless Gildarts could get to the heart, Hades would win. The thing, though, I think about Hades, that, again, it's one of those things that it's never directly said, but I think it's the logic of the character, by just understanding him, his motives, the way that he saw the other characters, is that he got off the boat to fight Makarov because he knew Makarov would be a threat to the heart. Because if he could destroy the ship, destroy the heart, then he's going to take him out. Whereas with Natsu and crew, he saw them more as just like kids and didn't take them as seriously. I feel like with Gildarts, he would lead the ship, and Gildarts wouldn't know about the heart, and then he would be able to just pretty much do the whole borderline infinite magic and infinite stamina. What are you talking about? Oh wait, what are you talking about? I'm trying to see this. I don't know what Dolly is saying. They're in a mistake by herself, so if she dies, it's good for everyone. What do you mean she made a mistake by herself? Are you talking about for like with Echnologia or dragon slaying magic in general, or what do you mean? Because like Irene obviously, like, I mean, she had blunders and shit, but I mean, at the same time that she caused a lot of problems, she caused a lot of solutions. Because you have to keep in mind that obviously, like, everybody in the protagonist side of things that has dragon slaying magic is only able to do that because of Irene, and obviously how Irene connects to certain specific parts of the story, like stuff with Urza and how everything Urza connects to. I don't think Irene is just a, fucking up, making mistakes, no responsibility type character. It's just like things that are relate to her that she is technically responsible for, but not really. Like Acnologia wouldn't exist without her, but neither would Natsu and stuff. Well, Natsu, not dragon slaying Natsu. He'd probably just be some fire spirit like Mishima initially planned. Do you think we'll see future rogues magic? Oh, I already answered this. I don't think so. I mean, I could see a character doing it, but I just don't really know what the plot reason would be to do it again. Like, what reason do we have to do dragon manipulation magic? And there's not many dragons around, and all the dragons that are going to be around are going to be way too powerful for pretty much anyone I would imagine that's going to pop up to do that. Trying to figure. Let me find a picture to put for my thumb or my background for this one, because I still haven't changed it. I wonder if the people who were really mad about Nightwalker not showing up in Elentier to fight, which made absolutely no sense whatsoever, having a character who capped out at like part 1 Urza level show up and somehow be relevant fighting, where like the bare minimum is Sprigantier, 9+ years out of combat, and now people are gonna get mad that she had a baby and she's just like living as like a pretty much like a house queen. See this nice picture Irene in there. The people that for that are goofy. There are some theories I think that make no sense. I think that Irene stealing Selene's body is one of them, because I feel like it was. I feel like it just doesn't work with what Irene as a character would want. Because one, why would she take a dragon body back? 2, why would she take an injured dragon body back? But it does look like Irene fully fixes Selene. So Selene, I think, might actually be back up to 100%. Very curious if Mishima is going to have her healed and up and ready before the next arc, because then it's like, well, what is he going to do with her? Is she going to participate? I'm fine if she kind of just is like an emergency card, and maybe she's used more for like when she has to stave back. She's just got to stave back Viernes or something, or stalemate him, or kind of keep him at bay. I don't know. That's going to be one of those things, obviously, we're going to have to just kind of wait to see how it plays out. For some reason, it's not showing the images in my... Like, it shows this one. Let me try putting up another one. I don't know if I fucked it up somehow. Let me put another image in here. Crap, man, let me remember to do this. There we go. Irene will enter Urza body. No. Irene is pretty... Well, I mean, I guess she just came out of an Urza body. But no. The Mother of Dragon Slayers is gone. It seems like she's passed on and she's living... gonna be living a more happy life. And I'm fine with that. Oh, sources. I was clicking on the wrong thing. I just want another image. Sure, Ed. What's that image for? Oh, there we go. Well, let's get a nice Irene picture on there. Look how pretty she looks. She says, "Thank you for all my fans, but this is it. This is where we part ways." And so we'll miss you, Irene. You're badass as fuck, and your design is great. They did a really good job drawing her in this panel too. Editor had her add her time skip so she could get Dragon Ball power up. Like, no, she couldn't. It made no sense. There's no time skip for Edolas like that. They haven't had magic. They have nothing, unless they somehow develop mech suits. In the last 9 years, they're not doing anything. They have no magic. She's been out of combat for almost a decade, and she capped out at again even second origin level. Like, she would be struggling against Azuma. Like, if anything, she'd be weaker now than where she was. Would be cool to see her come into play with India's plan. Well, I think that's going to be Selene, though. The thing about Irene that would be problematic if Mishima, like, instead swapped him out and had Irene be, like, the running kind of powerful group leader, I would assume, instead of Selene. I feel like it wouldn't have went as well, because we need somebody equal to Viernes and Ignia. Because, like, as powerful as Irene is, she can't handle either of them. And it's like, even with her in the group, I don't imagine that they're going to be able to close that gap. Irene is very smart, and she's got a lot of magic and skill. But it's just like, there's that overwhelming gap that I don't think combination and stuff like that are going to be able to make up for. When, because it's like, you could take a bunch of really good strategists and stuff, but it's like, if they're all, like, foot soldier level, and they put them in Zack and Loki, it's not going to matter. They could talk about trying to get him on a car, but he's literally just going to blitz and kill all of them. Or is it going to be anyone like Lax's? That's not true. I don't think she can be Lax's. Well, no. I think with her, it's close. If you put her and Jalal actually in a fight, I'm still putting Jalal. Jalal's just, like, Lax's has more direct power feats, but Jalal is a massively better fighter. Way smarter. He's got pretty much everything for his arsenal. He's got mid-range attack, short range, long range, close combat, binding abilities, illusions, reflective counters, general elements, double, like, thought projections to take off status effects. He's got a lot. Like, Jalal's got a lot. And on top of that, Jalal has consistently shown that he can back it up. You think Wendy will still have some of Irene's magic power? I don't think she'll have her magic power. I'm hoping she, like, left her essentially like a magic note that has, like, hey, I left you, like, a couple, some stuff on enchants that'll help you out. So you won't die anymore. It seems there's a chance for the damage into her. I'm fine with that. 100% fine with that. The alchemy arc is going to start next chapter. Probably the next chapter or the one after that. Like, I can see the next chapter getting into the next arc, but I could also see it as, like, a time to, again, like, so not similar to this, and obviously a useful and productive cooldown chapter, but for the other characters. Like, I would love one of these before we get back into stuff of the Fairy Tail members interacting with their Diablos counterparts. And we don't need all of them. I don't need pretty much any of the Dark Dragon Slayer Knights, except for maybe Haku and Wendy. I take a brief Laxus and Kieran, but I don't think theirs is necessary right now. I'm hoping that that's something we get later, get a little bit more focus on. Like, I would love for them all to have group team-ups where they have to be with their respective counterpart, and then that way we can just get, instead of, oh, Laxus bantering a little bit maybe with Natsu or Gray or whatever, we get, like, oh, some fresh ones. Like, okay, these characters are going to be stuck with them. We're going to get to see pretty much any time that they're talking to each other is going to be pretty fresh and new interactions. This cat. Avena. Hi, Avena, you're fine. I don't know if you can hear her. I mean, if you want to go off the fact that Laxus has more recent feats and Jalal doesn't, I mean, that's fine. But I mean, like, it's every single time Mishima has shown that Laxus is powerful, Jalal is just more powerful. Mishima has done that the entire time. Again, maybe not in terms of just raw, brute, like, power, but in terms of the full-rounded wizard, it's very clearly Jalal. Not even close. Again, Laxus is a good fighter. Laxus's level of skill, though, and versatility and stuff does not even come close to Jalal's. Seems like only Alchemy, Gold Dragon God, Arc, and Igni left. Oh, we still have Rebellious, too. We've got those, and I'm guessing, like, a big final arc. Some very likely big plot twist mega villain, I'm guessing. Maybe LF Saria. Or Jalal show his magic. Oh, his Grand Chariot. I mean, Grand Chariot, though, is like his standard. I mean, that's like how Natsu has like his Iron Fist and Demolition Fist. Laxus, I mean, this is what his Lightning Jaw is pretty much what he's been using for the most part. Because like Laxus doesn't have a ton of named moves. Laxus, like if he's not using Dragon Sling magic, that man is using Raging Bolt. He will default to Raging Bolt constantly. Jalal win based on versatility. The thing is, like, Jalal is just, he's got so much more to use, but every single time Mishima has shown Laxus off, the next time Jalal gets shown off, Jalal is shown off better. And a good example of this is the fight with Jura. Jura was obviously stronger than Laxus in the overall scheme when the fight started. I think Laxus obviously was able to overcome that gap and, you know, get stronger to defeat him during that fight. Jalal was stronger than Jura. Jalal was faster than Jura. Jura was fine keeping up with Laxus. Jura was having problems keeping up with Jalal. 100%. He was sweating bullets at the sight of Sema. Like, he did not know what he was going to do with that one. How do you feel about Halcyon Justice ending in Eden Zero? I liked it. I wish we got more time with them, though. Because it's like, Justice, we've barely gotten anything for him. That was, to me, it's like the same thing with Witch. It's like Mishima has these ideas that are really solid in 100 Years Quest, but I feel like because he's... Or not 100 Years Quest. 100 Years Quest is... I mean, 100 Years Quest has been, for the most part, way better paced in its large scale, but part of that is also because it has all Fairy Tail as a backing. Eden Zero, I obviously, like, Eden Zero, and before people say that you must hate Eden Zero. Eden Zero is still, like, my top 3 for new gens. It's Eden Zero, Black Clover, and Chainsaw Man. But, like, one thing that he's done with Eden Zero, and I think it's because he's trying to keep it shorter, that he's not letting parts where he should intentionally make them a bit longer because of their importance and, you know, more key stuff in the plot and, you know, character stuff that would... Like that in Fairy Tail you would get, but we don't have that in Edolas, in Eden Zero. Like, for instance, Holy should have gotten a good chunk more to her character. Like, compare Holy to Kana. And this is not the best example, but compare Holy to Kana. Two side characters who we knew about, we never really saw much about until their respective arcs. Until we got to the Lendard arc, until we got to Sirius Island. On Sirius Island, we, you know, obviously were introduced to Kana, drip fed in, not like introduced, but in reality, like once we actually started to get to know her character, because she's barely in the manga. She's got some extra stuff in the anime, but not much. Whereas this is clearly like an anime we're supposed to starting to figure out about her. And with Holy, that was when her character, for the most part, was introduced. Again, we knew of her, but next to nothing up until this point. But as like we got so much stuff with Kana, but we didn't get nearly as much with Holy. Like Holy didn't have any of those like really big climactic climb moments. And I like that a lot. And like she didn't have anything that really kind of like made her character big and stand out. She melted Cure at one point, and that's mostly it. It's like with Dead and Crow. Dead and Crow, Aknoella, like Eden Zero has had some solid villains. Shura has been really solid. Ziggy, Drac and Joe. Aknoella really didn't mass up to what I was hoping for. I think personally though, this is me personally, because this next one is supposed to be like the big final stretch of Eden Zero. I don't think it'll be like one more 40 or 50 chapter bit. My guess it's gonna be like, if I had to guess, it'd be like, what are we at right now for Eden Zero? Like 2 something, 220. My guess it'd be like somewhere between like 70 to like 80 chapters or something, maybe a little bit more. I think Machine will either make it around Ravemaster size or get like a chunk more. But I think maybe he'll extend it out a little bit in the end for the finale once we get to that. My belief is that he planned for more larger scale, bigger, villains for like the, I don't know if it's going to be the Heavenly Knights or what, but that feels at least to me the most logical thing. With the Arasion States Galactic and Interstellar, we knew from the time skip Shiki was already at that level, if not one of the higher level ones. So having them all grouped up, already putting Shiki at that spot, one, I just think that they should have been expanded upon a bit more. But outside of that, I think that they were, for the most part, fine. But again, at the same time, it's like right now, one of the things that I didn't like about the new Pokemon game is that you don't get to do much with the gym leaders before you fight them. I really like in the Pokemon games where it's like you have some form of mini side quest, like an actual one, not like the freaking water dude who it's like you go to the market and bring him his wallet. Like an actual like, oh, how this is going to be in the plot. You learn a little bit about this guy. Now you have to fight him, and so it gives him a little bit more value. And that's, to me, it feels a little bit like that with the Arasion States Galactica and Interstellar and Eden Zero. It feels like Mishima, he had them, but he knew that like these guys weren't super big on my list. I'll have them just kind of like, they've got a couple things to accomplish, but besides that, it's these other guys. So until we get to these other guys, these guys are going to look pretty meh. Because realistically, I don't think any of the Galactica and Interstellar really did that much in this last arc, other than like what Elsie and Sword of Justice. But yeah, them going, I'm fine with. What Mishima has planned moving forward for both series, obviously very interesting. What's he gonna do with like the remaining Galactica though, and Interstellar? Or I think the Galactica are all gone except for Shiki, right? So it would just be the Interstellar, and there's only like 1 or 2 of them left. So they're probably just gonna kind of fuck off and go do their own thing. All right, but female professor in a new Pokemon game? No, I don't like her. I really don't like her. I played the game after learning about the story and all the stuff with Arven. I don't like Professor Sada. She pissed me off. If you become a member of my channel, which is only $1 a month, you can watch all of my playthrough through Pokemon Scarlet, including my opinions on Professor Sada. I don't want to go too much into it, but I very much did not like her. I know she's popular and everybody liked her for Dino Mommy Waifu or whatever, but after actually finding out about her character, I was just like, this bitch needs to go. We need to get her out of here. Dragon Surge Delal's magic. That depends on the characters. I only have Boruto on my top new gen. Oh, I don't have Boruto anywhere. We're close to my new gen. I do, and it's satisfying to see Shiki get his revenge. Well, things just needed to be... I feel like there's just a couple chunks of that arc that needed to be extended a little more. Like, I think Rebecca should have got, like, an actual fight. Wise should have got something. Jin... Like, Wise... Like, Mishima was really weird about the side characters, too, in this arc. Like, he had stuff set up for him, but he really didn't do a lot with them. He gave him some skirmishes. Like, Jin and Laguna went and just helped Holy and then didn't really do too much else. Yeah, Arven had some shit he had to go through. I doubt it. If Laxus gets hit by a Grand Chariot or a Semi, I really doubt he's going to come out unscathed. Like, again, you forget consistently Mishima has done this to Jalal. And on top of that, Jalal and everybody with that eye mark connects back to Mishima's first first ever published manga one-shot for Magician. His main character had that. So Sieghart, who was his favorite in Rave Master, then was able to continue that tradition in Fairy Tail and then through Eden Zero. So very clearly that mark also gives him a little bit extra status in Mishima's mind. But it's like Mishima has consistently shown that whenever Jalal and Laxus have to present themselves and to back up whatever problem they have, Jalal just tends to perform better. You think Igni knows about Natsu being indie? Yes, I 100% think he knows. I think she was lying some stream that the Eden chapter would be controversial. It was boring. No, he said that the Fairy Tail chapter would be controversial, which it was. Well, I mentioned in his mind it's controversial. It depends, because this one, obviously Irene having to fully die to heal Selene, who was set up to seemingly die, would be a level of controversial. I don't think it will be, because the only people that would really be, I would imagine, too upset about it would be Irene fans, but I feel like even Irene fans are going to be finding that because of, like, you know, obviously how well this chapter did a good chunk more for a character. And I think it helped a lot with story progression. Because one, if Selene is going to be healed, that's going to open a lot more general avenues instead of like her just being in, you know, a person in the chair sending them through portals and then just waiting to die. Well, Joel hasn't really had an opportunity in 100 Years Quest to really do too much. He beat Gears, so it's not like he hasn't done anything impressive. He beat a God Seed, whereas Mirror Jane, you know, was getting styled on by Scoleon. And Mirror Jane couldn't even hurt the minion God Seeds. So, like, she's actually down bad. Like, Mirror Jane's like, it's funny, I like Mirror Jane, but at the same time I know that Mirror Jane has been just kind of like living in that constant cycle of not getting any feats or getting anything extra. But part of that is I think she fell off. Like, she just didn't really have anything since Alvarez. Again, I felt like it was very clear that she wasn't going to be able to keep up unless she got some crazy upgrade. I'm hoping maybe she'll get something and she'll get, like, you know, there'll be some form of way for her to get a boost / get a power up, and that way her character can, you know, participate in events more. Because I like Mirror Jane, of course. Like, I don't. That's the thing. And the thing that I always find really funny is, like, you know, one of the things, obviously, probably the most brought up one is when I bring up how Mirror Jane stands 0 chance against Gray right now. I know that, like, Gray is funny about it, but it's like not only the power gap, feat gap, narrative gap, but Gray counters the shit out of her. So Wolfen Brandish. Wolfen is 100% situational. That would depend entirely on who he turns into, because he theoretically could turn into 10 brandishes, and then bam, one brandish isn't gonna have the same time against 10 brandishes. Gray's not living rent-free with, or Mirror's not living rent-free in the Gray fans. It's just that it's funny that people think that Gray can't beat Mirror Jane, because it would imply that Mirror Jane is stronger than the E&D that Gray fought in and Alvarez, which makes no fucking sense. Anybody who has that take, I don't take their takes seriously in the matter, because it just doesn't make any fucking sense. It makes legitimately 0 sense in the context of the series. Like, Mirror Jane is strong, it would make, again, imagine Mirror Jane struggles against Scoleon, but is somehow stronger than the character that steamrolled through God Soul Demaria. Like, it's bullshit. Absolutely not. Like, it makes no sense. Listen, Atlas Bear, I mean, I can't stop you, but I'm telling you right now, it's a goofy theory that makes no sense. It's worse than if you actually try to use, like, Natsu being scared of Urza to argue that, like, oh, well, Urza's stronger than Natsu now. But it's like, no, 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 she's not. She hasn't been for a long time, so I don't know what your aim is. You see, I was playing the WoW expansion since the servers came up. Play scroll through series has never made sense. Natsu couldn't burn a wind table facing Zeref. I mean, that's the same thing as like Goku, a random ki blast from Goku not destroying the planet. I mean, that's just a fiction thing. Or like Superman freaking falling out of bed or something, rolling out of bed, and just him catching himself like would destroy the planet. Or, you know, X other character, random stray attack that should be well within the confines of obliterating an entire planet. Or like, I mean, you say the same with like attacks from Naruto doing like barely destroying trees and stuff. I mean, I guess if you're new to versus stuff or power levels, you wouldn't understand it, I guess. Oh, there's a guy attacking me. I think Mary Jane, her strongest souls would defeat Ian Natsu. Then you have no idea what you're talking about with this series if you think that. My guy. Like, Mira Jane would stand no chance. The strongest we've seen Mira Jane in that form was what? She got crushed by... Like, her strongest known would be what at this point? Sayla? Alegria, I guess, still probably. But, like, Alegria she can only use for a couple seconds. So what value is that really going to be for... What value is that really going to do against E&D? Like, nothing. It's going to do literally nothing. Oh, I got to kill this freaking frog. Oh, I have to... Oh, hold on. I just realized I'm standing in shit. I have time to put on my soul stone and get some health stones. What Alexis Jalal won that fight is... I mean, I'm telling you right now, it would probably end in a draw. I doubt Mishima would give it a conclusive ending, but if I had to say, I'm telling you, it'd probably be Jalal. Jalal is just in general has better feats, large scale than Laxus. Obviously, Laxus directly has more power level based feats because he's been in stuff recently where Jalal has not. But I mean, besides that, Jalal has just been consistently shown as more powerful and a character that Mishima, again, consistently has shown to outperform Laxus. Like Dinner's Quest, the only thing that I wished we got were a dragon's perspective and acting was on the rise 400 years ago. I mean, that's something I think that if we're going to get it, it'll probably be safe for Ignia. Her Bloodman, Soul. We don't know if she has Bloodman, though. And on top of that, we don't even know if Mira Jane still has the souls of the Aetherius. Because the Aetherius, theoretically, would be gone after Zeref dies. So we don't even know if he technically, or if she technically would even have that ability. It's one of those things that, like, if you actually think about it, we have no real clue whether or not she's going to be able to make it out of there, I guess. Like, I feel like she'd get completely fucked if she tried to fight pretty much any of these characters who are relevant. Like, Mira Jane, I don't see Mira Jane lasting more than a couple seconds against E&D, realistically. I think E&D would absolutely destroy her, and that's all there is to it. I think Guild Art's going to show up. I'm hoping this next arc, because I don't imagine there's a million things left. So hopefully we'll get him actually present and doing something in this next bit. We'll see, though. It's obviously going to be a waiting game. It could be the arc after. I talked to somebody the other day. I was talking to this other dude who said he was a fan of Fairy Tail over, like, the idea if anybody, and I'm talking about on this channel before, if anybody is potential to die Fairy Tail wise, you know, for Fairy Tail Guild wise 100 Years Quest, it is 100% Guild Arts. I think it would be, you know, the perfect setup for you to find out more about his backstory, find out more about him as an individual, where he came from, the origins of his magic and stuff. And then if he dies off, that would do a lot for, like, Natsu. You can get a lot for, like, obviously pretty much everybody involved, but Natsu more so than others. But It's it's something that I've been very interested in, but I think it makes sense more so than like if they wanted to kill off Makarov. Because I think Gildarts is a character that if he got killed off, people would care. Like, people love Gildarts. Where it's like, what's it, freaking Mishima does not need to even consider killing off Makarov, because Makarov has already been through that. Just leave him alone. He personally, I think he deserves the. I personally think he deserves to die in the guild, like peacefully and happily after the shitty life he's had to live. Makarov's had a terrible time. Best Dragon God according to you? Oh, Selene. It'll probably, I mean, like, depending on, like, how Ignia is handled, it'll probably be Ignia, because I feel like his character and writing is going to be really great, but we'll see. Bloodmen held all their abilities despite being dead? Yeah, but Bloodman is a demon who was made by Zeref. So, we don't know if he learned all the curses, or if Zeref made him to have all the curses. And on top of that, Zeref was still alive when Bloodman was alive. So it's not really a comparable set of what to go off of, because Mira Jane, realistically, and again, this is theory, purely theory, because like we have nothing to go off it right now to prove either way. Is at the point of Zeref's death, all of his Aetherius should pretty much vanish. So unless we don't know 100% if their souls stay, but as far as I'd be willing to guess, no. I gotta run through this shit in the game. There's all these. Oh my god. There's a bunch of little tornadoes, and I gotta make it through the little field. Oh my god, hang on. Oh, fuck me. Come on. There we go. Oh, I thought I made it. Never mind. Oh my god, fuck. I got right to the edge, and then this shit just sends me right back. Like 2 seconds away from getting to this freaking dude. There we go. I just walked around. I wonder if I could have, like, just, like, walked around, like, the little zone, like, gone up to the hill next to it and be like, yeah, fuck this. Deep Snow and Clean versus Merleon and Rill? Oh, probably Merleon and Rill. Deep Snow, I mean, Deep Snow is cool, but, I mean, like, he's not that impressive. Plus Merleon, I feel like Merleon would be fine. Because that was before Shuda got that really big power creep, too. Like, when Shuda fights Megiddo and fights this, like, country-destroying lion lava demon, it's like, oh, shit, well, okay. Fuck, am I able to get over there? I might have to wait a minute. Let me see where some real fast. I'm trying to figure out how to get up somewhere on this game. One sec. Actually, I think I might be able to jump. Nope. I think Gildarts is 100 years Swiss. Wait, what? How relevant do you think Gildarts' power scaling when it's 100 years Swiss? I mean, he'll be fine. He's like high Sprigga level, so baseline he's going to be fighting people pretty fine. I'm guessing he's going to be Dark Dragon Slayer Knight level still. Just based off of like the whole like thing where Kieran's magic was compared to Gildarts. It's a little hard to say where Alvarez Gildarts is, because like we don't see him have a direct real fight outside of August, but August is the top for them, so it's a little difficult. I get the Merleona not melting snow joke, but she has melted rock, so she should be able to melt snow realistically. I mean, I get the meme on her not being able to melt snow, but like I would assume it'd be similar to like Natsu not being able to destroy a table while he's fighting Zeref or something in the guild. It's just because, obviously, fiction stuff that they aren't going to get it. What am I getting here? Oh my god, some orb. I'm just going to jump to it. That criminal Laxus ate a Dragon Soul. How is it not a takeover? I don't know how it's going to really work. Because it's a weird one with fifth... God, I don't even know if it's 5th gen. I guess just in general how Laxus had this set up. It's really strange. see. Oh, I'm like clipped into something right now. Hang on. One sec. I'm like, oh fuck. I might have to just use my Hearthstone. I'm like clipped into a zone, and every time I try to move out of it, it twits me right back. So yeah, I'm just gonna Hearth. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, it says I'm moving, so it's probably like a game glitch. So I'll just exit out and re-enter. Janikki's machine soul take over a mother. Oh, mother, is she a machine? She's like an ethereal creature. I think you're gonna say like wall or like Jin or something, but like I don't know. Does mother count as a machine? You might see a takeover Dragon Soul. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like you don't really need it though. Because the thing about takeover magic, one, oh, the server disconnects, so the server probably went down. What was I saying? The thing is, like, you wouldn't be able to use takeover magic to defeat a dragon, and at that point, if you've already defeated a dragon to where you could use takeover magic, you're probably close enough with dragon slaying magic to just get a dragon form anyway. Yeah, I think it's the server, so I'll give it like 10 minutes. She's cables, but I mean, like, is that a machine, or is she some form of, again, weird energy being? Mother's really weird. I wonder what the story is going to be, like, her origins. Like, maybe she's, like I like the idea that she's witch, and then, like, because of the whole time travel, like, time thing, is maybe she got sent back in time, but she, like, it was an energy being or something, and then became mother or something. That's my guess. I'm still guessing that that's witch in some way, shape, or form. Oh, why should come back? He's Becky's real. Oh gosh. I didn't think Jill and Alexis would react to Ignia to being stepbrothers. I don't think they'd really care. I don't think it'd be that much of a thing. Gray's most downplayed character of Team Natsu. That's 100% true. But it's 100% also because Gray hasn't gotten any upgraded abilities the same way that the other characters have. Natsu's gotten like his mix between Fire Dragon King mode and his dragon scales or dragon force. Urza's got her weapon enchanting. Wendy's got her higher level of enchantments. Lucy's got her starters mix. Gray hasn't got anything, but I personally think it's set up for specifically getting Gray an upgrade. Maybe through Gold Owl Alchemy, we'll see. I think it's funny that people aren't aware yet that like people in fairy tale like consistently these like older dead like centuries old people reincarnate. Old Fort Papa needs to join the guild. I agree. Yeah, she's like a magic tentacle. Well, I don't think she's magic. I think it's just like the ether. Like she is, as said, like an ethereal being. Like maybe she is like something happened when she went back in time. Again, theory for witch, where because of that she turned into pure ether. But maybe it like because doing it at like the dawn of time or something made it so like she'll just keep gathering ether or something. I don't know. Wendy is taller than Quan. That's true. Anyway, I'm gonna call it here. We'll what's today? So we'll do. I'm trying to think of what I want to do for like another stream. I think instead of another stream, what I'll do is I'll probably just do like work on some videos. I'm working on. Obviously, I'll have the fan translation review, and then I'll have the. Try to words, and then I'll have the predictions video up. And then maybe might be something to talk about just in general, kind of like small chapter discussions for side topics. But there's a video I'm working on. My plan is right now, and this is I'm hoping this will stay my plan. Is I'll do the normal chapter review, chapter prediction, and then like videos where it's like, oh, the volume covers and stuff. Oh, let's talk about this topic that came up because this last chapter. But then because those ones I plan on keeping those to where I can pretty much do them, finish it in like an hour or so, and then upload it and have it within just a couple hours. but I want to do video projects essentially to where like I usually have at least one project that I'm working on. And the one that I'm starting out on, and I'm gonna try and get it. I gotta work on it soon because I have a specific date. I don't want to spoil it. And coming up for Acnologia, I'm super hyped for. I just gotta do a couple things for it. I have to look into a couple editing bits. I don't think I have to do a lot. I've already thought about a lot of the stuff I'm gonna talk about for it. It's gonna be one of those things where I gotta wait. I know it's with Body Mother, and we don't know anything that Mother can actually do though. So Mother might just like, if you put Mother against Endless though, because Endless is not intelligent at all. It's like a monster. So Mother could potentially just, because Mother's huge, she could just grab Edolas and then reborn him, like rebirth him into a person, and then kill him then, I guess if she wanted to. I agree, Grace should get a horn. You think we'll have dual chapters in a week considering because Hiatus will get 25 chapters this year? I don't know why. Is there a hiatus? I don't think so. Is there a hiatus next one? Because usually we don't get, or usually we do get chapters around Christmas time. And I remember because I think it was the first year that 100 Years Quest was out. I think it was Christmas morning. I woke up because I figured there was no chapter, and then I looked and I saw that there was a chapter, and I said, "Oh shit, I should probably get to this," because I had my laptop and I was at my parents' house, and I was just like, "Shit, I don't want to miss 100 Years Quest chapter." I don't remember what chapter it was exactly though, off the top of my head. If I looked at the dates, I think it was like, I'm trying to think, because I remember it was like May of what, 2019, I want to say, of when Alderaan was first shown. So this is like a couple months before then. So it's like, oh, I think it was the fight with Mercephobia, or like gearing up for the fight with Mercephobia. I think that makes the most sense. Mine's like really post ravines of time, bodies, Endless. I mean, he would just eat Endless. He'd just eat them. Do you think people take over Magic Confuse Souls? I assume that's the logical step if she was going to advance, like essentially take the souls and create her own kind of demons and stuff. Really curious to see Wendy awaken this chapter. I mean, I don't think Wendy will have that crazy of a response to it. Anyway, other than that though, I'll talk to you guys later. Like I said, I'll do a normal chapter review. Maybe we'll do a stream to talk about the chapter with context. But other than that, comment in the comment below. Check out my channel if you haven't. If you're just stopped by, if you're not subscribed, I do have. It's just extra stuff. If you want to see me play some games, it's just $1 a month. You can watch all of them. It's just some little, like I said, extra bit if you just want to see more behind the curtain. I'm trying to get, like I said, I'm trying to get a little bit more on the back burner, so like in the gaps between putting out a chapter review prediction or whatever video I'm working on, then I can at least get something like, oh, we'll play a game, and then maybe I can we'll do votes on it, and then every once in a while, instead of streaming talking about manga and stuff, we can do it playing the game, whatever it is. Because recently I just finished Scarlet, and I'm trying to figure out if I want to do Arceus, Shield, or Kingdom Hearts. But I'll probably wait and see. I'll probably wait a little bit and see what the current members are feeling. I'm pretty sure people want me to play Arceus, but we'll see. Because outside of that, I would assume, like, I'll probably just play whichever one obviously people want. But like I was hoping to get at least maybe like 1 or 2 more people just to kind of like even out some of the votes. But we'll see. Maybe I'll get some more once I actually get more stuff going. But again, that's just gonna be a waiting game on. So I really want to get my channel back up to a good status, because it's obviously taken some chunks falling down lately because I've been busy. But I'm hoping to get that, again, like I said, back up to running to a better position. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Like I said, we'll get the fan translation out soon. The Acnologia video I'm very excited for. If you obviously know Acnologia, you're gonna be able to figure out the date probably for it. But anyway, other than that, comment below, thumbs up the video, before the like button, subscribe button, check out my other videos. Thanks to everyone who's already subscribed. We'll talk later when the actual chapter translation comes out.